The roster's presented by PNC Bank. Well, Briscoe got some help from the big guys, Amir Johnson, Earl Clark, a couple of double-doubles last week against the Ghost Ballers. Frank Nitti, keep an eye on this. 32 assists total that he's had here this season. He could tie or break the single-season Big 3 assist record. This week, the basketball world and the sports world lost a legend when Bill Russell passed. His name is synonymous with excellence. 11 NBA titles with the Celtics, a pair of NCAA championships, and an Olympic gold medal. His impact, though, is much greater than championships. He was the first black head coach of a major American sports team. Always being a strong voice for civil rights, Russell persevered through racism and injustice. We lost Bill Russell Sunday at the age of 88. Today, the Big 3 honors him with a moment of silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand for a moment of silence in honor of the late, great Bill Russell. Thank you.
There are certain moments, Jim, where you remember where you're at, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was stopped in my tracks when I saw the news that Bill Russell had died.
It's the beauty about the NBA is this: is that we were able to always be able to reach out and touch our legends. A lot of legends were still living. We had that community. Whether it was a Bob Cousy, a Bill Russell, Dr. J, whatever it may be, we can reach back and touch him. Bill had been, battling some health issues over the last 5 to 10 years, but his impact on the game was so much bigger than just the championship. When I think about Bill Russell, I think of selflessness. He could score the basketball, but he wanted to give it up. He was selfless in life as well. That's the most important part.
He had a connection to Ice Cube, this league, and certainly playing with heavy hearts here today.
Yep.
The first bucket here going to Trilogy.
Yeah, guess who it was? Isaiah Briscoe using those big, broad shoulders to get. And what I love about it is that I think that kind of basket will set the tone for the game, because instead of, Lisa, settling for a quick jump shot, which happens a lot of times at the beginning of the game, especially the first game, Isaiah went right to the cup. And he was physical in nature, letting Frank Nitti know that this is going to be a long afternoon.
Frank Nitti, there's one assist. Said he's a couple off of tying the single-season assist record.
Well, I talked to him before the game, and I said, we're going to be tracking that. He said, tracking what? I said, that you're going to break the assist record. He was like, well, I didn't even pay attention to it. I said, come on, bro. He said, I didn't.
I love it. Briscoe gets another bucket. Here's your rules. First team to 50. Halftime is 25. You got to win by a couple. No game clock. Of course, that 14-second shot clock comes awfully quickly. You get a free throw depending on the distance and where you're fouled. And how about Frank Nitti trying to feed Powell again? And that 4-point shot, Tim, that can be a difference maker 30 feet away.
It's strategic when you take it now, but it lends itself to opening up your opponent to either get a quick layup and quick shot. If you leave it short, you miss it in a situation where a team can rebound it and take advantage of it. So it has a good, but it also has the bad side of it too if you miss it.
Nitti off the 1 foot. Frank Nitti gets his first bucket.
Frank said before the game, in order to win this one, it's going to be important that he really is aggressive in taking and making his mid-range jump shot, one down already.
Briscoe, aggressive boy, starts out with a quick 6 points. Frank Nitti feeding Josh Powell. And a foul chasing down that loose ball. Again, 16 fouls before these teams get to the bonus. The first team foul here on Trilogy. And Frank Session, a little bit slow here to get up. It'll be Johnson who subs him out.
You know, and this is the difference this year with this Killer 3's team. The ability to sub in Dominique Johnson, a valuable second guard. They didn't have that last year. The lack of shooting and depth in the backcourt really hurt Killer 3's. That's not the case this year. You see the impact right there with Johnson.
Yeah, once, twice. The second time is good there for Powell. Well, Jim, I mean, Johnson was a difference maker last week, and when in crunch time, if you will, and they're sitting on 43 points to close it out, they subbed Johnson back in and made part of the difference.
Well, again, when you have guards that can shoot and spread the court, but also can drive, and speaking of driving, Johnson, they're a threat. And again, that's, to me, the difference with this team. Because when your backcourt is as stable as the Killer 3's, it's going to be tough. Like, who do you guard? Right there is an example. And especially when Nitty and Johnson are on the court together, they keep you spread. Both can make plays for each other. They make plays for their teammates, and they balance each other out because Johnson, as you can see, he can knock it down from behind the three-point line as well.
And he seems to like that right side as well. They're going to count that bucket for Briscoe. He's got a cool 8 points here to start.
Again, it's the physical contact, and this is Josh Powell's a big boy. But it's Briscoe who initiates the contact right there with his shoulder. But then look at the concentration, Lisa. Head up, eyes up, on the rim, able to finish through that.
Trilogy, the defending Big 3 champs, actually barely got into the playoffs last year. It came down to point differential with this same team, Killer 3's.
But they got in. And once you're in, now it's anybody's game. And they figured out ways to manipulate the system, so to speak, and win that championship.
The steal, you don't have to clear on a steal, and the kick out again to Briscoe. The tip from Clark. Missed a point-blank opportunity. Earl Clark defended by Josh Powell, who wraps him up that time, and Powell picks up the personal.
Well, he's been a difference maker as well, coming over to Trilogy this year. His ability at 6'10" to see what we did right there to put it on the deck, to have to guard, is the reason why you look at Trilogy as a team in the playoffs that could, make a repeat.
Oh, Briscoe with a little post-up look, and he got double-teamed that time with McDaniels coming over, getting subbed in here for Killer 3's.
But, I like the philosophy of this, of putting Briscoe sometimes in the post, because now he can utilize his big body to create a shot for himself, or if you help a little bit, he'll be able to make a play out the post.
Oh, look at that box out. And Johnson and Briscoe kind of both pointing at each other like it was his fault.
But you see the physical nature early because of what's on the line. So generally, early in the game, you don't see this. Teams are trying to fill each other out. Not right now. You don't have enough time to do that. If you don't win this game, you put yourself in a situation where you're out of the playoff race, and that's not what you want.
Stephen Jackson, championship coach with Trilogy last year. So Briscoe will get another chance at it at the free throw line. That's one shot for 2 points. 13-8 advantage. Heavy lifting from Isaiah Briscoe for that man. And Trilogy, Killer 3's and Trilogy. His formula is simple. Win, and you're in the playoffs next weekend. Send it over to Scal, who's with Stephen Jackson.
All right, Coach. Team started out with a nice little burst. You like when they come out with that aggressive mindset, right?
Yeah, a lot of our games, we always start off slow and get behind. This team has been playing great, one of the hottest teams in the league, and we want to start off trying to get behind, trying to play catch up. So getting up to a good start is always good.
Anything different with it being win or go on to the playoffs?
Say it again?
Is it different when it's a win and move on?
Yeah, because every mistake counts. Frank getting hurt, that can help us right now because he's a great player, but every possession matters, and right now to get what we want to get to defend our championship, we got to be solid.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Yeah, after Frank went down, we haven't seen him yet. Johnson has stayed in the game here for the Killer 3's.
But he doesn't look like, because he's interacting with Josh Powell right now on the bench, he doesn't look like that injury, early one, is going to keep him from playing. You can see it right there. You know what it is when the player is injured and can't go.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel well. He doesn't have that body language.
Look.
No, not at all.
Maybe it's because he stretched and worked out this morning at 6:30 like I did, and I was looking for Scal, Jim. Didn't see him again in the workout.
So I heard Scal's excuse for last week, too, that his back was bothering him because he's old.
Scal, I didn't see you.
Yeah. Where were you at? What's your excuse this week? What?
So this week, I was on family vacation. And I'll tell you what, I'll take 2-a-day training camp over doing family vacation. I need a vacation off of the vacation.
Okay, so where were you guys at?
I was just in Seattle hanging out. And I'm telling you, like that is I can do hoop, I can do 2-a-days, like entertaining the family all day, and that's not easy.
Let me ask you a question. And I love Seattle. But why Seattle?
That's where I'm from, and my wife wants to go back and see her family and all that stuff.
Okay.
So
it's a good question. I was actually wondering the same thing.
I'm not taking my family to Seattle for a vacation. I'm just letting you know now. I'm gonna be on the island with some drinks, brother.
No,
it's more of this physical play, Jimmy, that you've talked about.
Well, but that's Steven Jackson too, right? And that's Charles Oakley.
Yep.
So
they should have them go one on.
They're mirror images of their teams. And keep in mind, Steven, until this year, played for and coached with Killer 3's too. So, until last year when he, won it with Trilogy, but he played for Oak.
Yep. Earl Clark with the bucket. There's a look. Dante Green been quiet.
Yeah.
No points here for Dante. Can't say the same for Isaiah Briscoe. 11 of the first 15 points here for Trilogy.
I wonder what the conversation was like between Stack, Coach Jackson, and Briscoe in regards to not settling for jump shots, because as we see, Isaiah is just really trying to put so much pressure off the dribble on Killer 3's to have to guard him.
Here Johnson having trouble converting that in and around the rim. What do we got? Basketball.
But those are the layups, going up to 50. Those little shots that you don't get, those layups can come back to haunt you later on.
Briscoe again working it. The tip not there for Johnson. And the foul against Dante Green. Rematch of week 2 between these two teams. Trilogy won that one 51-48.
Yeah, in that game too, Trilogy, you got 3 different players that were in double figures. Earl Clark had 17, and Amir Johnson 16, and Isaiah Briscoe 16. Now, Nitty had 19 points and 12 rebounds. The reason why he's the 4th leading rebounder in the league.
I love that, right?
But it was that rebound off the Johnson miss that gave him the opportunity to seal the deal. So,
and you know what I love about that is that's one of the first things that Johnson talked about. Like, don't talk about my shot. Talk about the offensive rebound and the pass to get me the shot.
Exactly.
Earl Clark takes it away. That's his. If they give him that steal, that ties the single season record here for Earl Clark.
So we got a couple
records here to watch.
on the line right here, which is good. Beautiful pass. Beautiful.
McDaniels muscling it in for 2. "17-point edge here for Trilogy."
There he is.
How many steps did he take with that? We got a whistle and a foul.
Watch this play. Look, the pick and roll, slip screen. Josh Powell feels that Earl Clark is coming over. Nice little touch pass to McDaniels to finish it.
That might be the 3rd personal, if we got it right, on Dominique Johnson. He's still out there. We know with the Big 3 rules, if you pick up 3 personal fouls in the first half and you have an eligible sub, you got to get subbed out.
Yeah. Let's see what he's still in the game. We've got a dead ball. Let's see if. No, he's still
going to be in there.
Yeah.
So 13 points here for number 13, Isaiah Briscoe. Taking that contact, Briscoe. What a hard take.
I tell you what, the officials understand what's on the line too.
They're letting them play a little bit.
And I mean, they're really allowing a lot of contact. Look this right here. I mean, this is McDaniels with a little forearm in the chest. Beautiful out of bounds play.
a nice wide open look. Over to McDaniels, a block coming over near Johnson, and Clark finishes it off.
Help to helper. That time Johnson able to clean up that layup block shot, and Clark able to take that dunk and put Trilogy up by 11.
23-12, the first of 25 to get us to halftime.
Things like this happen.
You learn, you listen.
That's right. You're not doing that to me this week. Nope. I remember I went to a public university.
The Ohio State University. Finger roll finish there for Johnson.
I like that play coming out of the timeout. Gave Johnson a little bit of room. He's got to go right back. I think that's what you have to do. Go back at Isaiah Briscoe to force him to have to guard, because he's putting a lot of pressure on you on the offensive end when Trilogy has the rock.
Trying to defend Briscoe, who gives it up that time for Clark. 3-point shot, and we're at halftime.
Well, look, give the ball up quickly. You're going to be open. This time, Clark inside the three-point arc, able to knock it in. Again, the difference maker, Isaiah's play, but also the acquisition of Earl Clark.
And we know Trilogy likes to live in the paint. The first three-point make for Trilogy in this game. The end of the first half, your score 25-14. Trilogy over the Killer 3's. We'll return to Dallas after these messages and a word from your local station. With Oak.
All right, Oak. You've been here before. Like, your team has started out slow and they've responded. What did you talk to them about halftime?
I don't know why we always start off slow with this team, but it's one play killing. The high pick and roll. Our guys got anytime a big guy and a guard come together before to trap the ball and make them reverse the pass. But we giving them both things. They passing to the best shooter on their team, and they get into the paint. So right now, hopefully, the second half we saw a big improvement in the defense.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Oak has his team playing arguably some of the best basketball. Four straight wins, right?
Yeah. But, you know, some teams match up differently with you. And this Trilogy team, because of their size, but I think of Isaiah also, they cause matchup situations and problems for Killer 3's. Let's see if that adjustment takes place on the pick and roll in the second half for Killer 3's.
You got a guy like Dante Green with no points there in the first half.
Yeah, you need Dante to step it up. I mean, offensive. Again, it's the points from the offense, but also trying to figure out ways to get stops defensively. And Franklin Session is back in, still kind of rubbing outside of his right knee.
Yeah, he went down in the first half. Only 2 points for Frank Session. And when you think Killer 3's, you're thinking Green, right? And you're thinking Frank Session.
Yeah.
And combined, they got 2 points between them.
But
back down and coming from behind. Never saw him coming. Clark lays it off for Johnson.
Well, it's interesting, too, because you got the block coming up, but it's 2 possessions where it was kind of a pick and roll with Dante Green up top early and then right there. So emphasis on trying to get Dante involved, and he has to feel the pressure a little bit. If it comes, get rid of it. If not, you know, be able to finish around the rim.
So 1 shot for 2 points here for Amir Johnson. Third in the league, 68% shooting from the field, in and around the rim. We've seen him kind of battling there in the first half. 6 points now for Johnson. Green, see what he can do with it. Clark made it tough.
Yeah, beautiful defense, just plucked it away. Good hands that time by Nitty to knock it away and force Trilogy to have to reset by taking the ball out on the sideline.
One of the best nicknames, I think, in the league.
Which one, Nitty?
Frank Nitty.
Oh, yeah.
I just like saying Nitty, like it's his last name. Clark. Briscoe, pump fake. Oh, got hacked.
The hat?
And tried
Really?
to tried to turn into a shooting foul. What would you have described that?
Mauled.
Okay.
But Dante, he stayed patient. I like the slow closeout, but at the end, he went for the pump fake. Right there, you want Isaiah.
They upgrade this?
They could, yeah, because he's not making a play on the ball.
I think they might look at it.
Yeah, they have to.
Yeah.
He's not making a play on the ball. I think that too, Dante just didn't want to allow Isaiah to get, downhill and get a layup, so he tried to grab him and stop him, but that could be upgraded to a flagrant. See the slow closeout, which was he was supposed to do, but then at the end he bit for that pump fake.
Ian McClinney is the crew chief. Now with the headset on, this is under review. Levon Sagarian and Charles Rubia round out your officials here, at least for game one.
I think they upgraded.
Yep, I'm back.
Oh, a flagrant run. Opponent is awarded one free throw shot for 2 points and then gets possession. Flagrant 2. I don't think this would be a flagrant 2, but ejection for flagrant 2.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, they upgraded, and Dante is like, what did I do? Well, you grabbed him on the shoulder close to the neck. And I know you didn't want to give up anything, but that time it's the correct call by the officials.
So a flagrant 1 foul, 1 shot for 2 points here for Briscoe. And again, Trilogy will get the ball.
And see, those are the kind of decisions that you have to make that have to be better decision making, because you're already struggling to score. This Trilogy team, you know, across the board offensively is kind of having their way, and now you bail them out with a flagrant foul, knocks it in, and now they got a chance to exploit it right there. That's a 5-point possession.
And Briscoe knocks down the 3, his first of the game. Well, you're right, Trilogy running away with this one, 32-14. Winner punches its ticket to Tampa next weekend. The championship in a couple weeks in Atlanta. Here's Powell, open look. And killer 3's struggling. They can't make anything.
But never have been able to establish any kind of offensive consistency early. So even that open shot, see Briscoe behind the line, able to knock it in. Even that open shot for Josh Powell, when you don't have any kind of rhythm offensively, a little 15-foot shot, you don't feel good about knocking it in.
Frank Nitti feeding Dante Green. And suddenly those are his first points coming in the second half. And Frank Nitti, that could be his second assist here of the game. Wait on the official score to give us that. Clark, how about that spin?
But it went back. Look, it was a high pick and roll, right? Josh Powell was up, but he allowed Briscoe to turn the corner. So now it's a two defenders on one side, but you got a 2-on-1 on the weak side. So if you're gonna, trap that, you can't allow him to go and get by you. If not, he's gonna break down the defense just like he did.
Powell working for that one. Josh Powell, offensive rebound. Couldn't put it away, but he's got a free throw for 2 points here coming up.
Now, we see the back end of this, which is Earl Clark acrobatically able to finish, but it was the pass off the penetration by Briscoe that got Clark ultimately in a position to score the basket.
And Steven Jackson playing our first Bring the Fire. You get 1 per half. You can see this here in the first half. There's the rules. You can challenge a shooting foul. And so the 2 players involved will go 1-on-1. This will count as 2 points. I mentioned each team gets 1 challenge per half, so Killer 3's still have a Bring the Fire challenge.
And it's interesting that Stack chose to use it now. I mean, you're in control of the game.
Good call.
I get it, and it worked because defensively, I think the numbers skew towards the defensive player on a percentage basis has been able to win out.
We saw a 4-point Bring the Fire last week.
Yeah.
Dentman got that one. Johnson with the kick out to Briscoe. That's another 3. And the tip there for Johnson.
That's where the size right now for Trilogy is just paying off.
18 for Briscoe, 10 now in double figures for Amir Johnson. Green flips it over to Frank Nitti. Takes a peek at the shot clock. It's at 5. He pulls and fires and hits. 4 points now for Frank Session. Who, by the way, officially did accumulate a couple of assists in this game. So no, tied for the most in a single season in Big 3 history. Blocked from behind. Now they got to call the foul on Earl Clark.
But that play defensively, they got the ball out of Briscoe's hands up top, forced Earl Clark to have to make a play, turned it over. Able to get themselves to the free throw line.
One shot for two.
Yeah, I know that, Killer 3's are down 16. We've seen how quickly you can score the ball and change the dynamics. But the question is, can you get multiple defensive stops?
Briscoe trying to lay it up.
Jump hook.
And Green will clear. A couple of 5 and 2 teams competing to get to the next weekend. Frank Nitti, they'll give him that shot, and he makes that shot.
And you got to take it, too. You feel comfortable. That little, you know how it is, Lisa, that little rhythm dribble. Nitti was able to take it, feel comfortable.
Oh, there's a flush. The big man coming through. Straight down the lane, a 38-23 Trilogy advantage.
Well, the high pick and roll has been the key for Trilogy, and right now, Amir Johnson, sorry about that, Dante Green. It's not personal, it's all business.
Okay,
Thank
Scout.
All right, Jim, get a pen and paper. This is how this is going to work. So let's say Killer 3's is playing for more than just trying to win this game. Right now they have a 12-point advantage over Aliens. So they need to walk down this lead. If they ended up losing by 20, then Aliens theoretically could lose that next game and still make the playoffs. So there's more than just, hey, win and go on in this game. The Killer 3's have to walk down this lead one way or another.
That point differential. No, the first tiebreaker is head-to-head. And then it goes to point differential.
Yep.
Killer 3's, let's not forget, they missed last year in the playoffs. You see Green knocks down the 3 because of point differential to Trilogy.
And that's why you always say take care of your business when you have an opportunity. The games that you let slip away, sometimes you say, well, we can make it up, but then they come back to haunt you later on with these scenarios right now, how close it is between these 4 or 5 teams.
Yeah, that's why you got to play to the finish, right? No matter what kind of lead you have. Point differential comes into play. Down the stretch. Take a look at this foul against Green.
Let's see if Dante gets him. He got him right there at the end, right on the wrist. They bring the fire.
You got to know, bring the fire.
Smart use right there. At 38 points right now, Earl Clark can shoot pretty well from the free throw line, so you figure he will make that too. Again, big skew towards the defense. Let's see if Dante Green can get a stop.
Clark gets wrapped up. It's like almost like a bear hug.
With this though, because of the physical nature, you got to make your move quick and get to your spot. Because the closer you get to the basket, the more physical it's going to be. And right here, Dante Green, he grabbed everything. Give me all number 5 jersey, and he might as well just put the jersey on right there. Listen, man.
No call with that, by the way.
What call? What do you mean?
Frank Nitti. Close territory, and he's Earl Clark is just exactly that.
Let me tell you this: they need an ice bath in the back after this game, because there's some physical play right there. I love it though, because again, the players have to figure out how to play through it and be smart about it, and the officials are not just calling everything. So
Earl Clark off the bounce, pull up. 17 feet out. Briscoe gets the offensive rebound, and a blocking foul is called.
Yeah, that time Dante Green was inside the restricted area. He was in good position, but just didn't recognize to get 2 feet outside of that restricted area, and Briscoe did the smart thing.
Did you always like a physical game?
I did. I mean, it bode well for me because I was a bigger guard, so I could play through it. And plus, I figured that it's an easier way for me to get points, meaning I can get to the free throw line by picking up those fouls.
Three look, too strong that time. Dante Green looking for it. Briscoe. Trying to find that post. Pump fake. What a pump fake it is! Whoa! And what a move that was by Earl Clark.
Well, his ability to knock it in is why Josh Powell went for the pump fake. But you got to be solid in that situation. Just make him beat you over the top. And once you go for that pump fake, it's a 2-on-1 on the backside.
Clark with 8 points.
Nope.
That's a capital no on that shot. He can go back to the Clark move.
Yeah, well, you tell Josh Powell, let's stay down. The Air Force don't want you. They able to get to the basket.
I heard you say that one week. I started laughing.
Hey, man, just saying. You know, if you want to be a pilot, you start flying. You know, some opportunities out there.
Briscoe with the step back, 15 feet. He's got 22.
I'm going to tell you what, this Trilogy team playing like this, it's going to be so tough to beat. And you think about it, you're playing with one guard. Okay, and that's Isaiah Briscoe. And I think Earl Clark's versatility allows you to be a little bit more creative offensively, and then Johnson inside with his ability to man up the paint, get second shots.
Johnson wanted an and one call after that bucket. Didn't get it off the 1 foot. Earl Clark's feeling it.
They're coming at you. The 1-2 combination between Briscoe and Clark is going to be tough to stop. We see that right now with Killer 3.
Johnson with the pull-up. Mentioned he likes that right side of the court. A 4-pointer would win it for Trilogy. 3 would get him close. Briscoe pulls.
Too open. He was too open.
And that's a real thing.
And plus, he didn't have any contact, so he didn't feel comfortable shooting that. Oh, my goodness.
Clark. Going to work.
All right.
You knew that was off right when
but it was good defense by Johnson to keep Clark out.
Johnson, 4-point attempt. Was their first 4-point attempt here of this game. Tosses it away. Clark gets another steal. Briscoe lays it up.
You know, I'm surprised. Gave it up to Briscoe, who ultimately got fouled. But I guess it goes back to the unselfish nature, too.
And with the steal, my friend Earl Clark, now with a new single season steals record. BIG3 basketball.
Makes sense. Doing it on both ends of the court, not just offensively, showing his versatility and his.
Wonder if he knew. Did you talk to him in the pregame?
I should have hollered at him and asked him because
3 steals here in this game puts him ahead of David Hawkins.
Hawk. Well, and think about it. Hawk is not here today, but Trilogy.
We got Jared Jack here.
Keeping it in the family.
Jared Jack, man, what a performance he put on. The semis and the championship last year.
Yeah.
Sitting mid-court.
And doing a great job with the Phoenix Suns. That was his destiny. A lot of people talked about that before he even got the job, that Jared Jack was going to be in a situation to be an outstanding coach one day. And he started that path last year. Speaking of which, I mean, my goodness.
That'll do it. The alley-oop to end it for Trilogy, and they're off to the playoffs.
Started by going to the basket. You end the game going to the basket. Again, the pick and roll slightly. But that's Isaiah Briscoe. Just throw it up. Amir Johnson, big fella, go get it. And the reaction.
Briscoe, what a game he had.
Oh, man, just keep it moving. Again, this team started off a little rocky, but they found their rhythm, Lisa, and now put themselves in a position at 6-2 in the playoffs.
Trilogy was when the day started, one of the 3 teams that with a 5-2 record have now clinched a spot in the playoffs. We head over to Scout.
All right, so you took your game to a new level today, right from the start. Tell me about your aggressive nature right off the jump.
Now, I'm going to tell you what got me started. I was at the crib. My girl told me I need to be worried about Frank Nitti. Earlier today, I got an interview and they were saying, well, what about you and Frank Nitti? Frank Nitti, my man, is nothing against him, but it's not a comparison. It's no comparison. I'm going to just leave it off at that.
The walk-off, Scout.
The girlfriend said you got to get ready for Frank Nitti. Those are fighting words in my house.
mic drop from Isaiah Briscoe. How about it? Part of the game-winning alley-oop. 50-28 is your final Trilogy over Killer 3's. Stay tuned for more Big 3 basketball. Power and Aliens coming up next. We're returning to Dallas after these messages.